Hi there, my name is Elon Beck and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share and subscribe and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I think it's kind of fair to say it's the end of days. The end of days, we've lived through social unrest, pandemic, and now race riots. So I guess you're all getting your bunkers ready to retreat into for your final hours of life before the apocalypse. So if you are getting your bunkers ready, I got a really strong recommendation of something you really, really need to take with you, or at least watch. You need to at least watch before civilization crumbles, and that is the Godfather movie, the Godfather Godfather Part 2, and if you're feeling up for it, the Godfather Part 3. So why am I so into you watching the Godfather movies? Well, firstly, they are absolutely fantastic. They are such an important part of American cinema. I actually don't think you can really truly understand or appreciate Western cinema without seeing these movies. I don't think you can. I think it's really important to understand, our cultural heritage, which is in the midst of being shattered and erased right now by very, very strange people. I don't think you can really understand without seeing these movies. They are that pivotal. And the good news is, as well as being very, very worthy, they're also incredibly good. They're incredibly good and incredibly entertaining. But the real reason that I really want to talk about the Godfather movies is because I'm giving them away. This week I'm giving them away on my channel. The Godfathers Part 1, 2, and 3 on DVD, plus tons and tons of documentaries. All you need to do to win them is subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, and in the comments leave the hashtag "You broke my heart, Fredo." You broke my heart, Fredo. That's what you leave. That's the hashtag you leave, and then we're going to pull all the names out of a hat 1 week from today. A Sunday, was it the 5th of July? When I'm on the TARDISode on Noel's channel, and we're going to be doing a watch along of the great Doctor Who episode School Reunion, starring David Tennant. That's a really good one. It's from Series 2, so that'll be 2006, Episode 3. That's how much of a geek I am. I even pulled the episode out my ass. Fine. So let's talk about. That's one really good reason to subscribe. Also, can I hit the like button? Can you hit the share button? All these things are really, really good. Yes, I know society is crumbling. It's going to end soon, but I would like to get more subscribers. Before the final end. So if you can do that, be great. And if you are subscribed, can you make sure you're still subscribed? Because YouTube has this strange predilection of peeling off subscribers from me every now and again. Fine, let's talk about The Godfather. That's why we're here. So it was directed by Francis Ford Coppola. The first part came out in 1972. Now, Francis Ford Coppola is a bit of an interesting bird in that, much like Orson Welles, his best work, and by far his best work, was at the beginning of his career. I would say his cinematic career reached a pinnacle in 79 with Apocalypse Now. Probably my favorite movie of all time. Go check out my channel. I'm sure there's a review of it there somewhere. After his work kind of just slowly deflated. It was actually very, very sad, really. Probably his best work of the 80s is the 1983 Rumblefish, which is a dark mirror to its sister movie, The Outsiders. We're going to be talking about Rumblefish in a few weeks on my new panel show, the Rabbi's Video Vault, dealing with fantastic cinema of that's a little bit off the beaten tracks that you might never have heard before. That's probably going to be dropping on Fridays. Okay, but back to The Godfather, which is why we're here, as I said, in which Coppola directs a breathtaking cast. I mean, absolutely breathtaking cast, including Marlon Brando in a career-defining role, which was a career that was just full of stellar performances. So Brando plays the patriarch of a mafia family at the heart of the Godfather Saga, the Corleone family. So Marlon Brando is Don Vito Corleone. His three sons are played by Al Pacino as Michael, James Caan as Sonny, and the late fantastic John Cazale as Fredo. Now, if you don't know who John Cazale is, that's just an absolute tragedy. He was really in place, along with Pachino, Robert De Niro, Robert Duvall, to be one of the greatest cinematic actors of his generation before he lost his life to cancer in, 78, 79? So The Godfather is essentially the story of the Corleone's family experience in America, going from the beginning of the century, 1901, I think it's where it starts, going all the way up to the 90s. The ending point is a bit unclear. They don't say when it is. It's some maybe mid-90s, early 2000s. The story is from a novel by Mario Puzo. The script was written by both Puzo and Coppola in collaboration, and the authenticity that comes from that just shines through in every frame of this movie. I would have thought Coppola's personal Italian American family heritage probably made the subject matter just so seductive to him. The Godfather opens up with Don Corleone's daughter's wedding, Connie. It's a very unfortunate wedding in 1945, and it ends, actually, now I think about it, ends in 1955 with the even more unfortunate dissolution of that marriage. But the bulk of the movie concerns a mafia war with the five families, when Don Vito opposes the introduction of the heroin trade to the family operations and mafia operations throughout New York as well. So that gives you really a fantastic insight into Brando's Vito Corleone's character. The entire Godfather Saga can be viewed, and in fact I do view it, as a meditation on leadership or on kingship. So Don Vito sees his role as a leader of somebody who needs to care over his community, care for his constituency, over everything else, and thus sees the dangers of narcotics to his community being far more important than the benefits, which is an insane amount of profit that you're going to make. So that's why he opposes it, and that's what really causes the war, which is the beating heart of this first movie. Don Vito is just so completely beloved at the same time as being feared by people. Also gives you another real clue into who this is and what the story that Puzo and Coppola, I think, are telling in tandem. The heir apparent, is Sonny, his son, played by James Caan, and you get the feeling that James Caan isn't doing so much acting through a lot of it. He's really enjoying himself, especially when he delivers beatings. When he delivers this incredible beating, which I think a lot of it was kind of ad lib. Which, from what I understand, I think that was the case to his sister's husband, Carlo. Fredo is the weakest of the brothers, and it's just sort of like desperate role, people yearning for more, yearning to be more than they are, but trapped by their own inadequacies. That Cazale just really excelled at. He's also very famous for Deer Hunter and Dog Day Afternoon, all of which have a very similar feel, to his character. It's just, again, utterly tragic that he passed away so young. But it's Al Pacino's Michael Corleone, who is on the outside of the family business. That really ends up becoming the center of the business and the movie. He's an ex-war veteran with his father, Marlon Brando, has aspirations for him to move into politics, and he has this incredibly high hopes for him. So it's with a real genuine sadness that Michael is drawn into the family business and the ongoing war with the five families. So there's this just breathtaking extended sequence. So this is really the sequence people normally think of when they think of The Godfather. They think of more this sequence that led to this, where Al Pacino has to spend years and years in hiding in rural Italy, which actually looks really nice. I wouldn't mind going there on vacation after he's forced to perform this again incredibly shot assassination, and which draws him into the heart of the family business for the rest of his life, really, inextricably. And he knows that going in, which is, you just see the incredible weight of responsibility and duty on Michael, but you see how that just gets corrupted and turned over his life. That's where this meditation on kingship really comes from. When you juxtapose Marlon Brando's Vito Corleone's reign with the subsequent one of his son, Michael Corleone. What's really telling, I think the actual what I think Coppola really wants to say is in their destiny, is in both of their destinies, which reflect one another, but at the same time, I would say are completely opposite. So this is no spoiler, because any saga that spans 100 years or near 100 years and generations of a family will obviously see major characters die, and we do see Marlon Brando's character pass away, and we see Al Pacino's Michael pass away. So Brando's Vito dies while he's in this garden with playing with his grandson, in the warm embrace of his family. Whereas Michael dies in a very similar way, similar place, but he is so completely alone, and it was almost certainly the end of his family line. So what I think Coppola is really saying with this, that Vito lived a life and ruled for the people rather than for himself, with both strength and love. Whereas Michael's rule, I think, was more concerned with himself, and he ruled solely out of fear, with his own happiness. I think, being it was his own, not even happiness, his own agenda being the central focus rather than the needs of the people. And as always in life, the counterintuitive truth is that you die and you live the life that you create for yourself. So if you live for your family, for your community, as Vito did, you'll die in their embrace. But if you live for yourself, you die completely alone. I think that's a very profound message in this just incredibly entertaining series of movies. So after the incredible success of 1972's Godfather, Coppola and Puzo continued the story. I think they must have started pretty much straight away with 1974's The Godfather Part 2. And really cleverly, instead of just trying to repeat the successes of the first movie, they told a very different story, because it's more, not so much of a continuation. It does continue the story, but it's more of a fleshing out of the story. So this one, second part, goes back to 1901, and you see Marlon Brando's Don Vito as a young man, now played in stunning fashion by Robert De Niro. Again, career-making roles, and it just makes his current, I think, what can only be described as dementia, just so much sadder. And an incredible attention to detail. Brando had this little prosthetic thing made that he wore inside his gum to shape his face, to give an idea of the how the years had created this person. And De Niro, a couple of years later, had a similar prosthetic made, but a much smaller one. So you can see the shape of the face kind of growing into the same person, and you can see his take on being the same person. So, like I said, the Godfather Part 2 tells this delightfully clever dual narrative where you see the rise of Don Vito through, from 1901, his fleeing from Italy and arriving in New York, and his ascendancy to being a mafia, a head of a mafia family, juxtaposed with Michael's rise in the 60s and 70s. Centering around, I think, his family, the family's move from New York to Las Vegas. Of course, all through this, that we have all the great mafia tropes that we all love in all these movies, and this is where they all came from. We have the troops going to the mattresses. We have multiple assassinations juxtaposed with religious events. By the 1990s, though, Coppola took the job of writing and directing the third part. And what's so incredibly frustrating with it is it's nearly in the same category as the first two, but they are just 1 or 2 degrees off, making it miss it by a mile. It makes it by an absolute mile. I think Coppola was probably deflated by having much less creative control by the third part and not being able to bring in Robert Duvall, who he really wanted to. I think more than anything because of studio politics. So it ended up being a shadow of the other two. The plot concerns Sonny Corleone's illegitimate son, Vincent Mancini, played by Andy Garcia, does a sterling work in the role. It does an excellent turn. Great assassinations, great action. It just doesn't hang together. Again, it's a real tragedy. There was a rough idea to do a fourth installment, which would have been like the second part, and would have shown Vincent Mancini's ascension through the 90s, juxtaposed with Sonny's ascension in New York in the, I guess it'll be the 30s and 40s. But alas, or maybe thank goodness, it never came to be. So there you go, The Godfather Saga, movies that you should really have to see. And if you haven't seen them, I think you're missing out. So all you need to do to see them, well, firstly, I guess you can go and rent them from Amazon or somewhere. Are they on Netflix? I really don't know. But all you need to do to watch them is subscribe to the channel. And then leave the hashtag "You broke my heart, Fredo," in the comments. Go check the video notes. It will give you all the information you need. You can just cut and paste it. That's probably the easiest way. My name is Sheila Beckin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.